I will start in a few seconds. All righty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the September 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Merced City Council. We're going to begin with an invocation from Monica Gracely from Lifeline Community Development Corporation. And then after that, Councilmember Shane Smith will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Monica.
Let's stand to pray. Lord, we just celebrated Labor Day, and we want to thank you that we get to live in a country where workers have rights, where we do not have to live in slave labor, and where we get paid for our work. Thank you. Let us never take that for granted. While we have all these freedoms to work, we recognize that some people working in fulfillment and rewarding, while others, it is a means to make ends meet, often in more difficult circumstances. So we ask that you give us wisdom to order our days, to know when to work and when to rest. Give us wisdom to provide good working conditions for all. Our world is changing fast, with AI and automation taking so many jobs and removing us from the decision-making process. Give us wisdom to make good choices in the way we advance. Let us remember that our work is a big part of our identity and is needed for the safety and survival of our families. Give us guidance in using technology, but not being used by it. And while politics is all over the place, and there are many divisions in our country, help us to remember that we're all human beings with intrinsic worth and full of gifts and abilities, and that each person has something to contribute in our community. Give us your grace to see that every person is created in the image of God. Lord, we want to thank you for the council members. They have a job that takes them away from their families. They have many papers to read before they get to the meetings, and they oftentimes get an earful from us. We ask that you give our council members wisdom to make good decisions, to do the best for every person, and to do the most good. And while the council is making many difficult decisions tonight, we know there's a group of folks behind us, behind them, who have to do the research and work hard to make this all happen. We ask that you bless them and that you give them wisdom in their work. We also want to pray for the firefighters tonight, and especially in the areas that just started the new fires. And as we enter this evening of decisions, we ask that every person recognize that they're not working for themselves, but they're working together for the betterment of our community. So we ask you that you give us shalom to bring peace and well-being into our neighborhoods. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Please face the flag and salute. Here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Monica.
Okay, agenda item D, roll call. Councilmember DuPont.
Present.
Deanda.
Here.
Harris.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Zhang.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Boyle.
Here.
And Mayor Serrato.
Here.
Mayor, I'd like to remind the audience that if they wish to address the City Council, they must submit a green request to speak form located at the podium in the back of the chamber. Additionally, citizens can submit public comment to the City Council electronically no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments received before the deadline will be sent to the City Council and will be part of the record and will be mentioned as part of the written petitions and communications portion of the agenda and will be posted on the city's website. Material may be emailed to cityclerk@cityofmerced.gov, and any correspondence received after 1 p.m. will be distributed to the City Council and retained for the official record. Also, for those audience members who wish to hear the council meeting translated into Spanish or Hmong, please let our interpreters know.
Good evening. Hola, buenas noches. Me llamo Mirna Zárate y soy intérprete en español. Si ocupan mi ayuda, voy a estar aquí sentada. Muchas gracias.
Nhớ rằng cô tôi tạo công hồ lão phải miền tua cô tôi xài lục trốn này mà nó giờ tiền nên từ tàu sát tàu lúc trong sĩ thảm mà nó xài lục mong là chính trị của đồ nó cô xài lục mong đồ này ở trong tàu.
In accordance with Government Code 54952.3, it is hereby announced that the City Council sits either simultaneously or serially as a public financing and economic development authority, parking authority, and/or successor agency to the redevelopment agency. City council members receive a monthly stipend of $500 by charter for sitting as a city council, and the mayor receives an additional $100 each month as part of the adopted budget and resolution 2024-78. The Public Financing and Economic Development Authority, Parking Authority, and successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency receive no compensation. Agenda item E, report out of closed session.
There is no report out of closed session.
Agenda item F, written petitions and communications. Mayor, the clerk's office did not receive any emails for this meeting tonight. Agenda item G, public comments. Members of the public who wish to speak on any matter not listed on the agenda may speak during this portion of the meeting and will be allotted 3 minutes. The mayor may propose a further limit to the time available for all speakers at the discretion of the city council in order to accommodate as many speakers as possible. State law prohibits the city council from acting at this meeting on any matter raised during the public comment period. Members of the public who wish to speak on a matter that is listed on the agenda will be called upon to speak during the discussion of that item. And Mayor, I currently have 2 request to speak forms.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. 3 minutes each.
Okay, if I can get Cindy Kelly and Renee Gutierrez to the podium, please.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's public comment for non-agendized items, so if anybody likes to speak, please fill out the green request to speak form, and you'll have 3 minutes. Cindy.
Well, good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager McBride, and City Attorney Cornwell. It's been a while since I've been up here, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I've kind of been remiss in keeping you guys updated about what's going on with Merced SPCA. I just wanted to share some of the stats with you. This was as of August 31st. We have spayed and neutered 461 cats. 212 kittens have gone through our foster program, 198 of which have been adopted or sent to rescue. We rescued 17 cats from the Altadena and Pasadena fires in January, 16 of which have been adopted. We spayed and neutered 350 pets in Merced through 3 grant-funded low-cost spay and neuter programs. We had 75 felines vaccinated. We saw an 88% decrease of FELV so far this year, going from 73 cases last year to just 9 so far this year. We added 13 new volunteers, which brings us to 56 volunteers now. We added 19 new members, bringing us to 91 members of the Merced SPCA. We've participated in 11 community events. We've been invited into 26 classrooms to educate elementary schools about cat care and pet ownership. And we currently have 4 open grant applications, one here from the city of Merced, to reopen the low-cost spay and neuter programs for residents of Merced. So we have been busy. We just had an adoption event this weekend with Studio 99 and Ola Cafecito. Thank you, Councilman Harris, for showing up and talking to your constituents there. We adopted 10 of our 14 cats out. So that was a huge success for us. And I believe 3 of the 7 dogs were adopted as well that America Rescue Animals had there. But we estimated about 390 people came in a 4-hour period. So we had pup cups and coloring stations and selfie stations and meet and greets and kitten corners, and it was just absolute chaos. Complete and utter chaos, but it was fun. So I just wanted to give you guys an update because I hadn't been here in a while, and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. I assume Harris was there for the selfie station. That's probably knew it. Knew it. All right. Good evening, Renee.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. Today, I'm here to advocate for a couple economic development items. I'm sure you recently heard the update from the California High-Speed Rail project update plan that they are looking to remove or resequence Merced from their initial operating segment. So today, I just want to bring light to you that what is the approach or strategy that the city's doing to engage with local community members, to help support the city in working, collaborating with the High-Speed Rail Authority. A colleague recently shared with me that when UC Merced, before it was implemented, a group of local community members gathered together and advocated for the UC school to be constructed here in Merced versus Fresno. The city of Fresno provided a more highly attractive package in Merced, but because of the outreach efforts, it was allotted to Merced. So what is the city doing to engage with local community members, to also engage local community members to get the city the support they need to keep Merced in that initial operating segment? So count on me for any support. Second item I want to advocate for is in the next few weeks, maybe a month, I believe you guys have a street vendor ordinance update. Here, I just want to ask in advance is, what is the city doing to provide relief and support to retain small businesses and also street vendors? This street vendor update looks like it's just targeting a specific population. But if you step back a little bit, I think the bigger issue is lack of job opportunities in Merced. There's a reason why street vendors are popping up, right? They can't find jobs, they can't find adequate wages. So the next big thing is starting a business, a street vendor business. This is a role that government cannot fill. Street vendors provide access to food that government can't, and small businesses can't. Lack of jobs leads to lower median average incomes, and Merced, unfortunately, is one of those cities that has a lower median income than like neighborhood cities and counties. Also, inflation. We all know the inflation is high right now, and every family in Merced is struggling. Also, there's higher utility costs for small businesses downtown, and tariffs have impacted us. Believe it or not, small businesses downtown are shutting their doors. So what is the city doing to provide provide relief to small businesses instead of targeting street vendors? So I ask you to provide that information or data before you update a street vendor ordinance that's going to continue to impact street vendors that provide a lot of essential and critical amenities to your local neighborhoods. That's all for today, but yeah, any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Neri. Appreciate it. Jennifer, anyone else?
That's all we have, Mayor.
On to consent.
Okay, agenda item H, consent calendar.
All right, any members of the council have any items that they would wish to have pulled for separate consideration? Councilor Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull item H13, and I need to recuse myself from items H6 and H16.
Okay. So you said that's recusal on 6 and 16? Okay. And pull 13. Okay. Councilmember Dupont.
H15.
15. Pull. Okay. Councilmember Zhang.
H9.
H9. Okay. Anyone else? So that's 6, 9, 13, 15, 16. Jennifer, anyone from the public?
We have one for H7.
Okay, H7. And that's it, just that one?
Yes.
All right, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we're going to pull 6, 7, 9, 13, 15, and 16. Discussion or a motion with respect to the balance?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Dupont and a second by Councilmember Harris. The motion will include agenda item H12, the adoption of resolution 2025-52, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Merced, California, authorizing the city manager to execute the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services fiscal year 2024 grant assurances agreement, and the adoption of resolution 2025-53, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Merced, California, authorizing the city manager to execute the Office of Emergency Services State Homeland Security Grant Programs, Equipment Planning, Administration, Training, and Exercises Agreement. Mayor and Council, please cast your votes. Mr. Deanda? Okay, and the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. We'll send Councilmember Harris out for his items that he has a conflict on. We'll take up 6 and 16 while he's out. Craig, any objection if we handle them together?
No objection.
Okay, we'll take 6 and 16 together. Any discussion, or if there's a motion, or if any council members want to have them heard separately, we'll also, we'll do that as well. But we'll take
Motion.
6 and 16.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Boyle and a second by Councilmember Dupont. The motion will include the adoption of Resolution 2025-56, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Merced, California, approving the final subdivision map for Yosemite Crossing Phase 3 subdivision number 5429. Mayor and Council, please cast your votes. Okay, and the motion passes with Councilmember Harris recusing himself.
Thank you, Jennifer. We'll invite Councilmember Harris back in. We'll take up H7. And who is our member of the public who wish to be heard on this item?
Okay, can I get Uriel Polito to the podium, please?
Good evening, council members, mayor, and everyone present. My name is Uriel Pulido. I've been a city employee for the last 6 years, and I've lived in Merced for the last 10. I love what I do, and I really enjoy the city that I serve. It seems like everything in this town seems to grow on you slowly over time, and that's what myself and my family have seen throughout this time. In these 10 years, we've seen how downtown has blossomed into a vibrant and energetic public space where my girls and I can grab a slice of pizza or we can get some ice cream. Mercado nights have become a family favorite, meeting and exploring all the unique local vendors and a chance to meet with our first responders. Everything speaks Merced to them now because this is where we live. The real reason I'm here today is not to talk to you about how much I've grown to love this city. We are actually gathered here today with my fellow union members from AFSCME, MACE, Fire, PD, because we're here to comment to our city council and the city of Merced about the great discontent and worry we feel about the new medical insurance rates entering in 2026. We get it. Life is going to be expensive. The cost is going to continue to go up. Our PG&E has climbed up 22% in the last 2 years. Car insurance, 7 to 14%. Our rent, 10% every single year. Our groceries, what used to cost us $380 for a family of 4, is now costing us about $500 now. This was 14 months ago. And now our health insurance, our rates are going up anywhere between 20 to 37%. These increases might not mean anything to everyone, but for me, they total to well over $400 more per month. That last one, that one seems to stand out. It's just a number for you guys, but for me, if I put that in dollars, that's $140 less per month out of my salary to provide the little extra we can for our families. I am not a person to boast a fancy car or take expensive and lavish trips. I live humbly in the city in a 2-bedroom apartment. I live within my means and within my wage. I work hard to provide for my family and to ensure we have a roof over our heads. I've dedicated the last 4 years of my life coaching soccer at Merced Youth Soccer Association. Recently, when both of our cars broke down this year, I walked or rode my bike 3 miles to our local park just to ensure that the kids were able to go out and have practice. I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me or to seek gratification from anyone. I tell you this to show you the kind of dedication I give not only to my job in this city, but to everything else I do in my personal life. Council members, mayor, both AFSCME and MACE, we're all gathered here today, and we urge you that on behalf of us, the very people that serve Merced in many different ways, your city employees, persuade the city of Merced to help us cover some of these increases in our medical plan that are going to be absorbed in 2026. Make no mistake, we are not asking for a handout, but that the city of Merced be open to discussion with its employees so we can reach a new, more affordable agreement amongst each other. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Uriel. Additional discussion or a motion with respect to the to H7, the annual cafeteria plan. I think big points made. How we treat our employees, and I know all of us up here are always fighting hard to do the best we can with the resources we have to provide the best compensation possible for our employees, and certainly. Health benefits are a big part of it, and the cost. We all know the skyrocketing cost of health insurance. We all know how many millions upon millions of dollars that the city contributes annually. But I think it's certainly important to note that we need to be competitive. We need to value the work that our employees do by compensating them well, and by certainly being sensitive to these concerns. All right. Additional comments, thoughts, or a motion, Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have to admit, I mean, I've been traveling for work. I have been checking my email. I did not receive a communication from anyone letting me know that our bargaining units had some concerns about this item. I think the words that we just heard, and also the folks who stood up with him, carry a lot of weight. You know, on the other hand, the city and this council recently negotiated what I thought was a very fair set of CBAs with our bargaining units only a year ago. So I kind of feel like I would appreciate a couple more weeks to study the issue, maybe learn some more before I can make an informed decision on this. I'll turn to Mr. McBride if there's some statutory timeline or deadline that we have to meet. You know, I'm open to that, but just sitting here, I'll tell my colleagues that given all this new information hitting us and what's supposed to be the consent calendar, I'd appreciate 2 more weeks to study this.
McBride?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. I don't think 2 weeks is going to be an issue. I do have some folks here today from the HR department. I don't know if Maggie Lemos or Suzanne would like to help out, but you see everyone scrambling for the microphone. But you're correct. We are mid-year of a contract, and so we agreed in the contract to share costs for certain items. And unfortunately, as you read the admin report, you see that there are increases that are way above what we anticipated. And so those shares end up being distributed, and employees pick up a big share of it. And so that's unfortunately it. So I'm going to turn it over, and they can give you some more background and talk about what's coming up.
We can wait for 2 weeks for you to become more familiar with it to get the approval or not have it approved. That's fine. Or I can discuss it with you now, whatever you would like.
No, I mean, I don't want to be unfair to you or staff. I think if this is that rare occasion where if we can take a little bit of time, I think we should take it. So I appreciate your input.
Councilmember Harris?
If nothing stands in the way, I would also appreciate 2 weeks of time to look at that, maybe a meeting of the budget subcommittee.
All right. Anyone else?
Are those motions or
I'll move to table item H7 until our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
second?
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Smith and a second by Councilmember DuPont. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. H9, Jennifer? This was Councilmember Zhang's request to have pulled for separate consideration. This is the ABC grant targeting underage drinking. Councilmember Zhang.
Yes, I want a separate consideration on this, and my comment is simply that I understand the purpose of H9 and this grant, but I disagree with how the funds will be used with the minor decoy, the shoulder taps, the party patrols. I think there's better ways to use this funding to ensure that young people don't drink. And there's ways in which we engage them, right? And we create like stable homes for folks that are struggling and figure out how do we actually address young people drinking. In addition to this, I think the funding should be used for things in which young people attend, right? And I'm talking about ages, let's say 14 through to 20, because we tend to focus a lot on young kids, right? Below the ages of 13 when we talk about community events. So I think that in terms of like sober grad, right? These are ways in which we encourage young people to not drink and still celebrate. And so I think that the way the money is being utilized right now, I'm not in support of. I think we should look at ways in which we actually encourage young people to not drink.
Okay, thank you, sir. Additional comments, questions, or a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mayor, if you want me to make a comment, I can comment on Councilmember Zhang's.
Sure, we have a pending motion.
These are just the minimum requirements for the grant, and I agree with everything you said. In fact, I have Sober Grad meeting in my office this week or next week. They're on the table for the acceptance of the $50,000 grant. These are the minimum requirements. Our expectation is we are going to exceed the minimum requirements that the state required to receive the money. SoberGrad is going to be part of the program. It's just not a requirement of the grant. So it's not something that the grant overseer is mandating that I do to get the money, but they are meeting with me next week to talk about this exact thing that you just brought up. But these were just the minimum standards to receive the money, but we agree with you, and we have plans to do way more than the minimum standard of the grant. I just wanted to make sure I hit that point.
And I appreciate that, Chief. I believe that as well. Although I do always have reservations when I don't see it on paper. And so that's something where I think I would like to see it right now, as this is our plan of how we will utilize the money. But I appreciate what you're saying.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Zhang, for raising the issue. Is there any more questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the question. Jennifer.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Boyle and a second by Councilmember DuPont. The motion will include the adoption of Resolution 2025-55, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Merced, California, accepting a grant award from the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control Alcohol Policing Program. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, and the motion, Councilmember Harris, and the motion passes with Councilmember Zhang voting no.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Takes us to H13. This is Councilmember Harris's request. Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. My only issue with this item, and the reason I wanted to pull it off consent, is it's a $6 million item that I think deserves just a little bit of discussion and explanation before we move forward with it.
Okay. Questions, comments? We have our city engineer here. Would you like Daryl to give a brief presentation?
I would love it.
Okay. Mr. Jordan, if you could oblige Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Harris. This year, we chose to expand our list of consultants, so in the future, we can get an even more diverse bid on our projects internally for our CIP projects and programming. So you'll see additional numbers of consultants on this list. There will also be a second list coming your way consisting of landscape architecture, building architecture, and surveying services, which will come at a subsequent meeting for your review as well. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have on this. This is a typical process we go through at the city every few years when we renew these contracts. But I'd be glad to answer any direct questions you may have, Mr. Harris.
So this is money that's already been budgeted, am I correct?
That is correct, and we may not use that money, but it's just allocated with a cap on it, so we can only spend so much per consultant if
Yeah, I
warranted.
just wanted to get that on the record and not have it appear that we were asking for more money.
Yes, sir.
with this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. That's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Zhang.
So looking at some of these consultants, we see several for civil design and engineering. Can you explain why we have, I think in this case, 3 companies listed here rather than having just one?
Councilman Zhang, we typically have a maximum of 3 per each type of profession, and that's how we've actually done it over the last 20 years or so since I've been here. And that gives us the ability to, on a single project, to go out to 3 different firms to get a price from those 3 different firms. So we're not just single sourcing and getting high prices. We make this keeps them competitive and keeps them honest.
Awesome. And so just to make sure I understand that, even though we move forward with this for that $1 million contract for each of them, whenever a project come around, we would then put it out to bid for those 3?
That is correct. And we try to keep that even below this threshold as much as we can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Additional questions? Jennifer, anything from the public? Okay.
We don't have anything, Mayor.
Thoughts, questions, comments, motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Harrison Boyle.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Harris and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Boyle. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Let's try that again. Go ahead and cast your votes again. There we go. Mr. Deanda, one more time. Okay, Okay, and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Jennifer. To H15, this is the request to reject all bids for the traffic synchronization project. Councilmember Dupont.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Daryl. Just a couple questions. And reading the staff report, this was the first project to have the project labor agreement requirements added to the specifications. We have 2 companies that bid. Were there any other companies that wanted to bid on this project?
Yes, sir. There were 2 other companies that I'm aware of that chose not to bid on this project, particularly because of the PLA.
And then the project increase in price in the amount of about $650,000, is that correct?
That is correct.
Was that due or had some impact to what the project labor agreement requirements were?
It did have some impact. I'm told that the oversight and management fees did increase due to the fact that they would have to be coordinating with this project with the PLA agreement.
And this was a CMAQ grant-funded project that we provided matching dollars to, which got us over the $1 million, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to bring this up for the other council members to kind of flag it for our consideration and to make sure that we're seeing these type of projects that are being impacted by the project labor agreement. When we're getting grant funding and we can't do a project and we'll have to put more of our own funding into the project of the tune of $650,000 just to do a traffic synchronization because of a project labor agreement. We have contractors that don't want to work with the city or bid because of a PLA agreement. So, you know, I put that out there, food for thought for our consideration. I don't want to be spending more of the taxpayers' money based on a PLA agreement.
Noted. Additional questions, comments? Jennifer, nothing from the public?
We don't have anything, Mayor.
Councilmember Jean.
Do you mind, just for all of our knowledge here, walking us through what the PLA requirements are?
I may defer to city council or attorney for that, but it is more of an oversight with union labor. So they are much more involved in a project on site, interviewing laborers and reporting back to the state and to their own unions.
Are there any specific requirements in which the project managers for this specific project are requiring of the contractors to provide in terms of reporting structures?
There is increased reporting requests by the union themselves, where their labor is coming from, what union halls are coming from, registering them and making sure everything is in order per that agreement. So there is more administration cost.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Daryl, what, if anything, did you hear from the contractors who didn't bid?
The concern was the additional reporting requirements and that they would have to find laborers that they typically maybe would not use, but in a different union hall outside of the Merced area instead of locally. I have talked to other city engineers and public works directors, and other jurisdictions around the Central Valley and state are moving to a $5 million threshold to make it a little bit simpler. These lower cost jobs are just really difficult. $1 million and above are hard to bring these projects into a decent budget to get these done. So they're moving that threshold actually up to like a $5 million at other cities.
Which other city? You have any examples?
I think Fresno was one of them that's moved that up. I can get back to you on the specific cities, but it's a concern in my industry just because the more overhead drives our costs up and we're trying to keep our costs low, so.
Yeah. Any idea of how much more expensive this?
This is our first, Mayor. I'm assuming I'm going to just, I guess it would be about a 10% perhaps.
Got it. Okay. Councilor Zhang, is that new or is that? Okay. Councilor Harris.
I think you just answered that, Mr. Mayor. I was going to ask what the difference would have been with the other firms, because we're at $1.8 million now, and I can't imagine it coming down below $1 million for sure.
And Councilman Harris, 2 of the firms that chose not to bid were our lower cost firms, so we didn't see those lower bids come in.
Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. Additional questions, comments, or a motion to reject all bids?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember DuPont and a second by Councilmember Harris. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, council.
Okay,
Thank
agenda
you.
item I, public hearings. I-1, public hearing, general plan amendment number 24-03, zone change number 435, establishment of residential plan development number 83, and vesting tentative subdivision map number 1333, initiated by Lennar Homes of California on behalf of Merced Gateway LLC property owners. The subject site is located at 3345, 3351, and 3610 East Girard Avenue at the southwest corner of Campus Parkway and East Girard Avenue. The general plan amendment would change the general plan land use designation for approximately 73.7 acres from manufacturing/industrial and business park to approximately 40.25 acres of low-medium residential, approximately 22.65 acres of high-medium density residential, and approximately 9 acres to remain business park. The zone change would allow the establishment of residential plan development number 83 to change the land use from business park to residential and establish development standards for this development. The vesting tentative subdivision map would subdivide approximately 73.7 acres into approximately 570 residential lots, 2 open space/park areas totaling approximately 3 acres, and 2 lots designated business park totaling approximately 9 acres for future development.
John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. My name is Johnny Land, Acting Planning Manager. We'll work on that title. That's a lot of...
Could be a little longer.
Yeah. So we'll work on that for next time. Basically, this was to come to you today for consideration. Due to a scheduling situation, we are requesting that the item be continued to the City Council meeting of October 6th to allow for additional review and to make sure that the schedule is better aligned with our workload.
And the request is to open the public hearing and then continue the public hearing?
That's correct.
All right. Any questions for Johnny before we do that? Okay, Jennifer, anything from the public on this item?
We don't have anything, Mayor.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. It is 6:37. And is there a motion to continue the public meeting to October 6th?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Harris and a second by Councilmember DuPont. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, the motion passes with Councilmember DeAnda voting no.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, to our action items.
Okay, agenda item J, action items. J1, approval of new terms and replacement of the previously approved 3-year MOU with the Merced County District Attorney's Office to share the cost of one crime analysis for the Merced County Violence Interruption and Prevention Program.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, council. This is a repeat item. We had this approved already. It was in our last year's budget. Council approved a 3-year contract MOU with Merced County District Attorney's Office for the shared use of a civilian crime analyst position. We're in year 2 of that crime analyst position. We currently use that crime analyst. That crime analyst is a civilian employee that does data filing for us, data research, does crime analysis, does a lot of non-sworn work for us, especially in homicides and gang-type cases. The attorneys, after we had signed the contract of several of the cities, thought there should be an indemnification, I struggle with that word, clause built in. I'm not an attorney, so forgive me. Built into that contract that I did as best I could. Basically to kind of shelter each agency to be responsible for their own portion of what data they're providing. And so how I understand it is if one of my allied chiefs provides information and this crime analyst does this work, but they provided that data, that agency would be responsible for the data that they provided, so the other agencies are not responsible or on the hook for any kind of legalities that may come out of the information that they provided that we had nothing to do with, because it is a shared resource. This employee is a shared resource. So we worked with the city attorneys in the various jurisdictions and our own City Attorney Cornwell, and the contract is exactly as you remember it, with an indemnification clause added to it, and we're bringing it back. We have not yet been invoiced. I was talking to our finance manager for last year, but we're ready, and it's encumbered money prepared to pay. Once the new contract term is signed, we'll go ahead and pay our last year's invoice, and we'll pay this year's. The county knows this is coming, but we're asking for the council today to reapprove the 3-year contract you already approved last year by adding this clause into the new contract.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any questions for our Chief of Police? Or Jennifer, anything from the public?
We don't have anything, Mayor.
Okay, discussion or a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
You have a motion by Councilmember Smith and a second by Councilmember Harris. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, agenda item J2, review of the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission's recommended musical performers for the City Council Brown Bag Concert Series, with notification that $4,500 in funding for 3 performances was approved during the 2024-25 fiscal year and rolled over to 25-26 fiscal year, and request for City Council approval to allocate $4,500 from the 25-26 budget art projects funds to support 3 additional performances in February, March, and April of 2026.
Good evening, Council. Jennifer Flackman, Senior Management Analyst. I'm here to ask for your approval for musical performers for the Brown Bag Concert Series in November, December, and January at the newly renovated Bob Hart Square. And in addition, we're asking for 3 additional performances for an extended series in February, March, and April. And we're asking for $4,500 for the additional series from the 2025-26 City Council sponsored art project funds. So the Arts Commission met and reviewed 12 submissions and came up with 3, they selected 3 performances for November, December, and January. There were various genres. There were a diverse review of genres. And so we used the genre diversity, performance quality, and family-friendly suitability to make our recommendations, or the Arts Commission made their recommendations. So once Bob Hart Square has opened, we'll host those 3 concert series there. So we're asking for your approval of the selected artist. Brian Cade would be the first, and his genre is rhythm and blues. Cheryl Lockett, 2 Hoots and a Holler, classic rock. And then Madison Mitchell with the Mac Theater Camp, family favorites, and retro hits. And that's for the first concert series. And then we are recommending an extended series with 3 additional performances in February, March, and April. And the committee, or the commission, selected the Wrecking Balls, which is a top 40 pop with a rock influence. And then William Bailey, which is a country rock and pop group, and then Zoe Ray, she's a classical rock and country performer. So we're asking for your approval of all of those performers and an additional $4,500 from this fiscal year's City Council sponsored art funds.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Very exciting. Any questions? Any comments? Anything from the public?
We don't have anything, Mayor.
Councilmember Smith.
Thank you. Can I ask, is this a 5-vote item?
I don't think, I didn't know that, because the money was already budgeted.
I believe the money is already in the arts funding, so it doesn't need to move.
Okay, I heard Ms. Flackman say we're looking for an additional $4,500, but I guess if we're appropriating from the same fund, then.
I think it was one from the prior year. One
Yes, you've approved funding from the prior year. And since we were waiting for the Bob Hart Square renovation project to hold these concerts, the commission met recently and selected those performances. But since the commission consults, they act as an advisory body for you, we wanted your approval of the selections.
Councilor Smith.
I think it's a great lineup. Always appreciate the input of the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission. I think a license to sell hot chocolate and coffee is going to be in demand given the dates here, but I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing Maddie Mitchell's theater camp group on my birthday, 2026.
Were you in a band at some point?
I was. I also had long hair once.
Bring them both back.
No.
Have you met Chief Stanfield? He would have long hair too.
Could we amend this to add to approve, but to also require Chief Stanfield and Councilmember Smith to play
Yes.
future dates?
Motion by Chief Stanfield. Chief, we'll get together and we'll play sometime. You'll decide if you really want to do that. I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Smith and a second by Councilmember DuPont. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Very exciting. Thank you. Thank you, and send our regards to the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission for all that good work.
Okay, agenda item K, reports. K1, review fiscal year 25-26 community funding request as recommended by the City Council Budget Subcommittee.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. This is a information-only item, I believe.
Yes, so the City Council Subcommittee met recently to review selections for the 25-26 Community Funding Awards, which was a total of $30,000. There were 14 submissions. Applicants proposed programming for the general community, youth populations, senior citizens, development programs, sports and recreation, job training, and innovative quality of life initiatives within the city of Merced. So the selected nonprofits and awards, I'll read these. Cavalry Assembly of God, the Isaiah Project, $3,000. Merced Youth Soccer Association, their Leadership Academy Project Expansion, $1,000. Merced SPCA Low-Cost Spay and Neuter Program for Puppies and Dogs with matching funds for the SPCA, $10,000, or from the SPCA. Merced Lao Family Community, Cultural Traditions, Generational Bridges, Leadership Unity, $2,000. Merced Symphony, 4th Annual 2025 Holiday Pops Concert, $2,000. Treehouse Tutoring and Community Center Parents as Literacy Supporters or PALS Program, $2,000. Playhouse Merced Community Ticket Access Initiative, $3,000. And Merced Police Athletic League Youth and Sports Mentorship, $1,000. And those are the subcommittee selections.
Thank you, Jennifer. Request to speak.
We do have two, Mayor. One from Nicola Adams and then Cindy Kelly.
So just to sum to the council allocated $30,000 in the past, that would give the city manager authority to make those awards, given the amount. We have a council subcommittee, that was myself, Mayor Pro Tem Boyle, Councilmember Jean. The three of us met over the course of 2 meetings with the city manager, Jennifer, our PIO as well, and other staff members. And we spent a number of hours dealing with this, and this is the result we had.
I need just a minute. I left off the Nut Festival at $1,000. I apologize.
It's okay.
I think you mentioned TNR as well. I think TNR was,
And Merced, I apologize.
TNR was 3.
Merced TNR is 3. So let me see. Yes.
Cavalry 3.
Yep,
NYSA
Calvary 3, Nut Festival 1, SPCA 10, Lao Family 2, Merced Symphony 2, Treehouse Tutoring 2, Playhouse Merced 3, Merced TNR 3, Merced Police Athletic League 1 for $30,000.
Thank you. In all total, we got approximately $143,000 in requests for the $30,000. Ms. Adams.
Good evening, council members, city attorney, city manager. I'm Nicola Adams. This is my husband, Steve Adams. A lot of people don't get to see Steve, so they don't believe I'm married. And FYI, I used to sing in a band. But I want to say thank you for the considering the Merced County Nut Festival. This year has been a difficult year for the Merced County Nut Festival as far as sponsorships. So we are grateful for the city, but we are going to have to work a little harder to make the Nut Festival happen this year because the track that we are on, it's looking like we may not meet our budget needs this year. So we had asked for 3,000, we got 1,000. We are grateful for that. Again, the Merced County Nut Festival is about bringing the community together. It is about community building. It is about bringing people to our community who have a good time. It's about doing things for the youth. The Merced County Nut Festival, our mission statement is to celebrate the almond, pistachio, and walnut industry, to educate the public on the process from grower to table, and to give back to the community in the form of sponsorships and scholarships through our through educational arts programs. A lot of the funds that we get from the Merced County Nut Festival come from this guy. Every year, my husband gives us $7,000 to put into the Nut Festival. He doesn't really know how much he gives. He just lets me have it because he's like, you know, he knows that my heart is in this community. My heart is in Merced. My heart is in the people. My heart is in bringing things here that people will see us in a light. People will stop calling us Murded and start calling us Merced because the events that we do for the community. And usually I sell a house right before the Nut Festival that I also put that money in. This last year, it hasn't been like that because of the accident that some of y'all know, me being hit by the truck last year. The hit and run driver caused some damage, and it caused me to be behind in a lot of things. So again, I'm asking the community, if you have it in your heart that you can help sponsor the Nut Festival, if you want to buy an ad for the Nut Festival, help us help this community. Help us continue to bring things into this community. Help us to make this community much better, because a lot of times we know our young people don't have anything to do, ages 13 to 17. And we give to those organizations that give them things to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Steve.
Come by and see me. I will sponsorship. I will definitely. Good evening again, Mayor, City Council. I want to stand up here and scream right now. We are very excited and want to thank you for the money. Man, I gave you a lot of stats tonight. One of the ones I didn't give you is that Merced SPCA annually operates on a budget of $45,000. That's it. That's our max. And that's less than the price of a new truck. But we do so much with that little bit of funding. I've come up here before. We did have a dog and puppy low-cost spay and neuter program. So you've heard me talk about Merced being a low-cost spay and neuter desert. You've also heard me talk about that TNRing is just treating the symptom of the problem. The actual problem is unaltered pets. The reason there's unaltered pets is because it's cost prohibitive. I will tell you as an example, earlier this spring in March, we TNR'd a 160-pound Mastiff. We spayed her under our dog and puppy spay program. Through that, the owner paid $90. We paid $1,405. So $1,495 to spay a 160-pound dog. So most people can't afford that. So this is going to be very valuable. We were so committed to it that we agreed to match over 100% of this funding. Because we know that if we can start getting these pets spayed and neutered in Merced, you're not going to see these dogs running the streets. You're not going to see puppies dumped. You're going to see a decrease in the animals that are surrendered to the shelter because someone can't take care of 8 dogs. I've seen a lot of things where people say, well, if you can't take care of your pets, don't get them. I would never say that to anyone. I would never, ever shame someone for caring about an animal. It's just unaffordable. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I would do a backflip, but I'd probably break a hip or the other knee, so I'm not going to attempt either. But thank you so much, and we are ready to start the program.
All right. Any comments? Anybody else, Jennifer?
That's all we had, Mayor.
Okay. All right, thank you to all our great community organizations who applied. We had to make some very difficult decisions, only so much money, and probably almost five times the amount in requests. But we did our best to spread the money around as best as possible, and also I think we made a conscious decision too to kind of focus this year on the spay and neuter and animal control issues as well too. We thought that was pretty important. So thank you everybody, and thank you to the city manager for your work on this. All right.
Okay, agenda item L, business. L1, request to add item to future agenda.
On my right, Mayor Pro Tem Boyle, anything for a future agenda?
Not tonight.
Councilmember Dupont?
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Jean?
Nothing.
Councilmember Harris?
Nothing.
Councilmember Smith?
No, sir, thank you.
Councilmember Deanne, anything for a future agenda, sir? Anything you'd like to see on a future agenda? Seeing none? Okay, seeing none, nothing from me. We'll go to council comments.
Agenda item L2, city council comments.
Okay, Ronnie, down to you for council comments.
I have a comment.
Okay. If you think of something, let us know. Councilor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have some council comments tonight. I think everybody is aware that the High-Speed Rail Authority has issued an opinion to basically take Merced off of the map. And I share Deputy City Manager Frank Quintera's comments to the authority board that we were blindsided. I'm not real happy about it. And I think that these are the talking points if and when High-Speed Rail decides to talk to us. Number one, there's been a partnership to bring the train and a station to Merced for at least over a decade. In fact, when I was a new resident trying to figure out how to keep a law firm job in Silicon Valley and live here in 2014, I joined a group of people led by then Assemblymember Adam Gray to make sure that Merced stayed on the route. We've had to fight for this route, it seems, every 4 or 5 years. And I read the authority's report. It seems to me that all of those facts should have been known to the High-Speed Rail Authority 15 years ago. I also know that there were others up here, but I was contacted by a journalist a week before the report issued. And this very well-meaning journalist asked good questions. It seemed to me that he had had an embargoed copy of the report. I got a chance to read an embargoed copy of the report after that. So why is the High-Speed Rail Authority sharing their report but not talking with their partners at the City of Merced? Which leads to my second talking point. I need to be convinced that we can still do business with the High-Speed Rail Authority. We have already undergone several years, if not over a decade, of having to make choices. We've dealt with the Senior Center and the Boys and Girls Club being concerned about losing their home. We've got businesses in the path of the train, major sales tax generators, and also our friends and neighbors who own these businesses are not investing in their business. They've had to deal with the instability because the train was coming. So we just gave the green light for a $500,000 contract for a consulting group to work with our team of residents to fold in station planning into our general plan revision. Now, I note that this is $500,000 from the state. It's not city money. But I need to be convinced that the City of Merced needs to keep making opportunity choices to keep the train coming. I'm not sure I see it sitting here today, but I'm just one council member talking. The third thing is that I can tell you that the investments in Merced are very durable at this point. We've got a growing UC. We have already adjusted our community to accept the UC. and welcome a whole new group of folks to town. That's not going to stop. This is the new commercial center of the valley. And if there was anything about high-speed rail that was about investing in a part of California that was left behind, then Merced will stay on the map. And I think everybody in this room at the end of the day will join me in fighting for that reality. Because it's not just keeping Merced on the map. What's been proposed is taking away Merced as a connection point for multiple different transportation lines. They're going to move that down to Madera. This is not about Merced versus Madera. But at this point, I think the ship has sailed, and I think the High-Speed Rail Authority should maintain their commitments to this community, and I'm going to be a voice to make sure that that happens. And if they don't want to follow through with that, then from my perspective, there should be consequences. Now, I think the city and the county of Merced have been very quiet in the last week. I would ask all of you to keep asking us for updates to make sure that we're doing what we all need to be doing to advocate for you. Because if this multi-billion-dollar investment were to disappear, I guarantee we will feel the impacts of that. I don't want to see that happen. So those are my interim thoughts, and I look forward to learning more from the High-Speed Rail Authority and reporting back to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Smith. The Brown Act doesn't allow me to comment on that or discussion or action. So I'll make my comments what I did during the last meeting, since the last meeting, which was attend the Main Street Association, Adam Gray's new offices, the coronation, the swearing-in ceremony of Casey Wilson, our new fire chief, and the SPCA adoption event. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilmember Jean. Councilmember DuPont.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I also attended the swearing in of our fire chief. It was a great event held by the city and inside City Hall. Look forward to the continuous work that Chief Wilson has been doing and will continue to do for the city of Merced. So thank you. As to the high-speed rail, I join in concerns. When the report came out, what I saw was we're going to move in a different direction because Merced is not the way we want to go because we're not going to make money. And that, as a Mercedian, cuts right to the heart. Because Merced is a city on the rise, quoting the former mayor, but it's a city that's continuing to grow. And we should, as a city, expect more, not of ourselves, but as those around us, to the legislature. I grew up here and around Merced, and as I grew up, I always felt like Sacramento always cared about anybody other than the Central Valley. And they still do. So this is not just the council needs to continue to advocate. This is a community thing. Together, we need to advocate to the authority, to our legislatures, that Merced is a place to be. It's not just the high-speed rail that we'd be losing, but like Councilmember Smith said, it's the ACE project that brings in the ACE maintenance yard, that brings in jobs. And it's the Mitzi project. It's the improvement to the San Joaquins. This is a connectivity that is like no other on the high-speed rail project. So as a community and as myself, I ask that we continue to advocate to those that are in the state legislature, those that are making these decisions at the High-Speed Rail Authority, because Merced shouldn't be cut out because of some funding or some numbers in a report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Boyd.
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Nothing from me as well.
Okay,
Jennifer?
agenda item M, adjournment.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Harris and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Boyle. Mayor and council, please cast your votes. Okay, and the motion passes unanimously.
All right, we're adjourned at 7:04, which I believe is, I know, 7:08 was the old, yeah. 7 was the fastest one that I think I ever. I told Jennifer, we're getting done before 7 tonight. Almost close.